Hey everybody, Derek here. As a lot of you know, I've gotten the opportunity to go to Farrier School this fall, and I have been so incredibly blown away by the gifts that have come in. At this moment, we have about $6,700 raised, which is absolutely incredible. That gets us close to covering tuition. Today, I'm standing here on the hill overlooking the stadium at Stanwood High School. What I want to talk about today is I want to tell a story about someone who was impactful in my life and helped me understand kind of areas I want to go in serving with youth and serving others. So when I was here in high school, my sophomore, junior, and senior year, I ran in track. I kind of played around in a few different events, but I kind of found my home in the distance events. So the mile was my favorite. A shop owner down in Green Lake, the owner, his wife, was a Spartan alumni. So they always give us great deals at the beginning of our season so that we can get shoes. First year I went, it was a bit too spendy, so I didn't end up going back because I was embarrassed about not being able to afford a decent pair of shoes. So as we're going through training at the beginning of the season for my senior year, my distance coach looks at me and he asks me, "Hey, are you going to be on the bus tomorrow? Are you going to come with us?" I told him, "I'm sorry, coach, but I can't afford it." Coach looked me in the eye and he made me shake his hand and promise that I would be on that bus the next day. Of all the runners on his team, I wasn't the best, but I had a good relationship with that coach, and that's kind of why I kept running that event. As we get to the store, the way it's laid out is the employees come to you, they measure your foot, ask you what events you run, and they go off and bring you shoes, and then they let you go outside and run a little bit and see how they feel. It's a real cool place. But as we get there, I'm just kind of sick to my stomach nervous. I didn't have any money with me. So I was kind of hiding in the corner hoping that no one noticed me. But Coach did. He sat me down, and then much to my chagrin, he got the owner of the store to come and start measuring my feet, and he was the one serving me. So he went and he got me some shoes, and I decided, well, since I'm here, if I'm not gonna be able to get a pair of shoes, I might as well try on some nice ones. So we went back and we got to talking, and he brought me the most wonderful pair of running shoes I had ever worn. And he gives me the boxes, and then I remember, oh yeah, I gotta tell him I can't afford these. So as I go in line, my coach is nowhere to be seen. And I'm getting real nervous and anxious about having to disappoint my coach and say I can't afford these. Right as I open my mouth to say I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to put these back, Coach shows up. He looks at the clerk and he says, "These ones are on me." At that moment, it just kind of blew me away. Growing up in Christian camps, money was never something we had in surplus. So it's something that I valued. Kind of if I wanted something, sometimes I felt like I had to go without something else in order to get to something I wanted. So I was just blown away by Coach's generosity, and I decided that I was going to earn those shoes. First meet of the season comes around, and Coach asked me, "What's your PR? What's your personal record that you're aiming for?" Earlier that week, I ran a 7:47 mile, which wasn't particularly good. And I decided that I was going to shave 47 seconds off of my time. I said, "Coach, I'm going to run a 7-minute mile." 47 seconds might not sound like a lot, but it is. That's a lot of time. As soon as the gun went off, I took off like a shot. For the first time, I was running with a purpose. I wasn't just running for the fun of being on the team. This time I was driven. So I started running with everything I had. And for the first time in my career, I looked behind me and there was more than one person back there. And usually how it worked is head coach would say, go faster, go faster. Distance coach would say, pace yourself, pace yourself. But this time, every time I passed my running coach, he kept telling me, speed up, keep going. I was huffing and puffing and sweating, my eyes were blurry. But I kept going because I wanted to earn my shoes. I wanted to show coach that I was worth investing in. For me, the very hardest part of any race, my whole track career, was the last 200 meters. That last turn that went around and back to the finish line. Because at that point, after running 4 laps for the mile, at that point, you're supposed to give it everything you got. From that point forward, it becomes a dead sprint. I was tired, but I said, gosh darn it, I'm going to do this thing. So I went into a dead sprint. I crossed the finish line and they run you into a little chute where they get the number you're wearing and check you out of the race. As soon as I went through the chute, I fell on my face, just gasping for air. Coach comes up to me and he holds the stopwatch over my face. I was tired and sweaty and I couldn't really see it. So I said, Coach, what does that say? I'm not wearing my glasses. He says, Derek, your goal was a 7-minute mile. You just ran a 6:24. And then I jumped up and he just gave me a big old hug. We put our arms on each other's shoulders. We were jumping, hooping, hollering. People watching would have thought that I just won gold at the Olympics. Now that time wasn't the best time anyone on the team had ever run. Most of the other guys were averaging more in the high 5s. But it was my personal best. And that's what Coach was interested in. That's what Coach cared about. The entire time I had known him, he invested in me. Even if I thought I wasn't very good, he let me know that I had a home on that team, that he cared about me. He always wanted to make sure that I saw myself with the potential that he saw that I had. Part of my goal of wanting to go to Farrier School is, like my coach, he had a full-time job, but it allowed him the freedom to be able to use that source of income to bless people. He didn't have to worry about using that ministry to be his primary source of income. He was able to just fully invest in athletes like me. And through that, it completely changed my life. I'm so grateful for him. As a farrier, I get to build a pretty good relationship with my clients. I get to see them about every 8 weeks is when their horses need to see me again. So while I'm there, I get to use that opportunity, that window of time, to build relationship with the client. And one thing I've found about horses is wherever there's a horse, there is a grandkid, there's a daughter, there's a son. There's always some sort of family around that animal. So it gives me opportunities then and there to minister and reach out to youth, as well as what I do with the church and other things like that. The last point I want to make here is my coach gave me shoes for the race. He helped provide an immediate need. Right now I have an immediate need. I feel very strongly that God is telling me to go to this school at this time for this class. And as the gifts of financial aid have come through, it just reaffirms what I know God is telling me. So I humbly come before you with that need of I still have a little ways to go before I can pay for the cost of tuition and tools. So I'd encourage you, if you have the ability to support me, your gift not only helps my immediate need, but just like what my coach did, by providing for my immediate need, he also equipped me with shoes for life. And that allows me to help the people around me to find their shoes. And it's kind of ironic that as a farrier, it's my job to put shoes on horses. What are the odds of that? So know that your gifts bless me, bless horses, bless people in more ways than you could ever imagine. And I'm so excited to get to share those stories of what God did through this time, through your help. Thank you so much for watching this video and the other videos. The link to my GoFundMe page is attached to this video. And if you'd prefer to give to me directly, my number is 425-783-9641. Feel free to give me a call or shoot me a text. I'd love to get to talk with you, answer any questions you might have. And once again, I am so incredibly grateful for all of your gifts. God bless.